Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel-ous Movie Mondays. Another Monday, another podcast. I'm joined with Kelsey. Kelsey, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jill. How are you?
Cool. I'm great. Yeah, we just had a great
Oh,
draft
good.
yesterday, a Tom Hanks draft. So I wanted to preface with that because there's a poll and there's a little bit of a contest to see who has the best draft every month for draft day. So if you want, go watch that episode. I'm gonna link it up in the top right there. Go watch the Tom Hanks episode. That's why my stuff is all Tom Hanks. I've got Forrest Gump behind me, all this stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, go watch that draft day if you want. If you're listening on podcast, go to the Dill Pickle Movie Network on YouTube. Go to that draft day episode and watch it, and then click the link to get to the Facebook page to then vote for the winner. Very interesting in the polls right now. Don't want to say who's in the lead because I'd be bragging, but it's a pretty close race with everyone. So I'm very excited to see how that pans out. We got more
Wow.
voters on this particular poll than we've ever gotten. So like I'm good to see. It's nice to see more people, more faces participating. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. But now onto the Marvel stuff. Not a lot of news. My big news was just that Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness is now on Disney Plus. So if you missed it, now you can catch that. Also, Obi-Wan's over. You got to find something else to watch before Stranger Things Part 2 of season whatever it is. Watch Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. Maybe watch it again. Maybe you'll like it more or less. I hope to do the same. And hopefully we'll like it more than I did. Because yeah, I just keep thinking about some of those visuals, and I'm like, that was so damn cool. But then I'm like, but that
Mm.
story was so damn not cool. So maybe I'll like it more, maybe I'll like it less. But Kelsey,
I gave it another rewatch still.
oh, cool. And
Yeah. And I liked it. I enjoyed
okay,
it.
great. Yeah, a lot of good stuff in Marvel going on right now. Speaking of, this is a different podcast than we promised last week. We had some scheduling issues, so we're gonna push our trivia. We're gonna do two trivia things for you in July. So we're gonna have one at the very start of July, July 4th. Just July 4th this year. I refuse to call it anything else. But
Mm.
we will be doing a trivia doubleheader with Brian. Or sorry, no, Brian was on draft day. Brian is not a trivia. It's Chris Diaz taking on Malcolm Lay. They are both 1-0,
Mm.
looking for their second win. And then Corey Ross stepping back into the ring after a few months, taking on JD in his third match. So that is going to be a fun double header. We have filmed one of the matches. We will not spoil who won and who lost. And we have another one to film, but those will be coming out July 4th. Today, we are doing Miss Marvel episode 3 because we still have stuff to talk about. Even if the trivia matches scheduling puts us behind a week, we just bump everything up around a week. So we got episode 3 to talk about. Kelsey, we were very much fans of the first episode. We're a little lackluster on the second one. Uh,
Mhm.
Blanket thoughts on this third one. What'd you think?
It just felt like is g- went on in this episode.
Yeah.
Just like there was a lot of, there's a lot of different forces at play here. We
Mm,
got to know some new characters, some characters that
definitely.
have popped up since a post-credit scene in the first episode keep like annoyingly inching their way to every episode, somehow
Yeah.
appearing right where we need them slash don't need them
Very
slash
convenient. Yeah.
don't want them. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
it it's like a lot of like, you know, being introduced to this whole new culture and
Hmm.
these new characters, and a lot's getting thrown out at the audience at once. I
Yeah.
feel like, especially in this episode.
Definitely. Yeah. A lot goes on, but it's funny because like you say like the stuff about the culture and the characters and stuff. I think I'm liking the show more the further removed from the superhero stuff it is, if that makes sense. Like
Mm,
I'm just
sure.
enjoying it as a family drama, as a drama about relationships. Whereas like whenever it gets into the stuff about the bangle and like that's very interesting, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, but I want to see like how she navigates this big secret in school. It's like if you replace superhero with like maybe like sexuality or like a hidden talent, like maybe she's a great singer or maybe she loves to dance or something. Like I think that would just be a compelling drama as is. You have a family who doesn't
Mhm.
approve of that, who is very restrictive, very sheltering, and then you have this girl who either has a secret or has some hidden thing that she wants to express. I like that angle of it. I love the wedding just culture and atmosphere. I love the fact that there are people who are trying to like abuse that talent or hunt down that talent. I like how there's almost kind of like this religious tie-in as well. But the actual superhero stuff, I'm just kind of like, okay, and that's so interesting for Marvel because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
It's like the action is so cool, but the story itself either doesn't live up to the action or it does, and then it's really really good. So it's very interesting this episode because I feel like we got a lot of those really good cute character moments, human moments, uh, just relationship moments. But the actual superhero stuff, I'm still just like, okay,
Yeah.
just hasn't
No,
quite hit that peak yet for me.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dale. I also think that we just haven't even it feels like we haven't even gotten that much of her as like a superhero. Like I feel like the second
Right.
episode we had that all that like training montage and then she tried to save that kid, as successfully as she could for being super
Yeah.
untrained and new at all this. But, I don't think that like the plot is what's keeping me interested just like as a whole.
Mhm.
I think really the driving force for me in this show is the characters.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
Kamala and Bruno's relationship, this wench now with Kamran, her
Mhm.
family members. I find her brother very entertaining,
Yes.
especially since like this episode was around him and his
Yeah.
wedding and everything. Like we got to see more of him. And just think like
Mhm.
he's hysterical.
Yeah.
And we have all these like very interesting, colorful, unique characters like driving this show. And I think that
Yeah.
is the most entertaining factor for
I
sure.
think it's interesting because like origin stories, it's like you have to explain the powers and then show how those powers incorporate themselves into the storyline. Here, I feel like we're still in the explanation phase where we're still kind of explaining what is going on, and I
Mm,
wanted to kind of get to the okay, but then what are we gonna do with that? And we've gotten a little bit of that like in certain scenes, but it seems like mostly still the whole like questioning what it is. And I feel like now for 3 episodes, it's been what is going on. Now we've
mm,
only got 3 episodes left, and it's like now where are we going to go with it? And I still think the next episode's still going to be a lot of the same what's going on. But let's get into it. Let's look into the recap,
yeah.
because this episode doesn't really go in a ton of different places. It's generally all takes place in a very similar like all the action kind of takes place in the same place. It's not like we're bouncing
Hmm.
around from location to location. There's a little bit of that early on, but it's mostly like we're not going back to the school a lot, cutting to the guidance counselor. It's always just like the big focus is the wedding and also the fallout from the last episode. It's like very much just act 1, act 2 this episode. So
Yeah, for
but
sure.
tell us about it, Kels, because we did leave off on a cliffhanger. We were wondering, is Kamran legit or not? And
Mhm.
I still like to believe he is, but we'll talk about it.
We'll talk.
We'll talk.
So, Miss Marvel episode 3 titled Destined. Okay.
Mm.
In the midst of Amir's wedding, Kamala is introduced to a group of supernatural beings who depend on her help to get back to their home.
That is correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's start with the beginning of this episode, right where we left off with the last one.
You said that in your trivia voice. You were like, that is correct.
Yeah.
In
Sorry.
the same
I'm a.
cadence you do. Oh, we're just in
Yeah.
trivia mode here.
That's fine.
Okay, so we open right off the bat with our Marvel intro after our previously on, and we are kind of in the midst of this almost music that, this music's playing in the background that feels very climaxy. It feels very
Mm,
menacing, like,
yeah.
something bad's about to happen, something is about to jump out on screen, miss minutes perhaps. But instead we get a
Hey
title
y'all.
card. We get
Hey
a title
y'all.
card and it says British occupied India
Mm,
1942. Which I was the entire time they're talking about, like, I mean, I guess like the parents were talking about like how the British left Pakistan a mess. And in my head, I don't know why, but I just thought it was like way back in like the 1800s. Like I didn't think
okay.
that like British was occupying India still in
Mm,
like the year 1942. That just feels like too recent to me, but
yeah,
I'm mixing up my
I
dates. I
I was
don't
never a
remember
big history
history.
guy. I mean, Kelsey knows. So we were in a history class together in high school. Like Kelsey would always be the one answering all the questions. I'd be sitting in the back like this, and then our buddy Simeon would be sitting next to us, probably reading whatever book of the week he wanted. I was not the best student when it came to history class, just because I was like,
Mm-mm.
I want to know about like film history. I want to know about like history of the Yankees. I don't want to know
Gotcha.
about the history of other countries, which at the time was a very stupid way outlook, and now I wish I did learn
Mm.
more because I'm very fascinated in history now. It's just what growth does to you. So
Well, Dill,
yeah.
I paid attention in history, and let me tell you, it's all very whitewashed and like
Well, there you
not
go.
the
So maybe
complete
maybe
history we should
maybe
be
I was
getting.
smart then. Maybe I was smart then. Maybe I was smart
Possibly. So we're in this flashback to 1942, and there's this group of people. They're digging in the cave. They're looking for the bangle, and then the woman that we met last episode finds it, and it's attached to an arm. Whether or not that was a person or a statue or whatever it was, they just found it attached to a severed arm, and we find they need two. Like there's a set of bangles, and they only have the one. So then we meet Aisha, the great grandmother, in this flashback, and she's like, you know what? When we'll have to do, the British start, invading the temple, or the cave, wherever they are, and they're like, you know what? They're like, we're gonna go this way. Aisha's gonna go this way. They split up. They never see each other again. So obviously, Aisha probably ended up in some other dimension, I'm assuming, while the others, got stuck here. So then we're back at present day and we find out that they are all from another dimension and they've been trying to get home now for the past 100 years. And the only reason why they found Kamala and know who she is because there was like an energy, some sort of connection they had to the bangle when she used it for the first time. So the bangle has kind of been signaling, excuse me, signaling to them, where to find her and how to get to her and everything.
And that's
which is
where we
why
saw
she's been having
the picture of the woman, who
these
we now know is Kamran's mother.
Very exactly these like premonitions, Kamala's been getting every time she used the bangle. So she says that every time she yes, we find out that Kamran is one of them, one of these clandestines. Clandestines.
Gotcha.
All right. Listen, it took me a second.
It's okay.
I'm like, I know I've heard that word before. It's in a Taylor Swift song, I think. Go figure. And so she describes Kamala's power. She's like, oh, every time you use the Nor, and she's like, oh, Nor means light. And then Kamala has this moment where she's like, Nor girl. She's like, no, that's not good either. Like she's still trying to figure out a name for herself. I just thought it was very funny. And essentially they tell Kamala that they need her to get them home because they can't use the bangle in this dimension. Their power is not strong enough. But because Kamala's from this dimension, if she uses the bangle, they'll be able to get home. And Kamala's kind of hesitant to help them because she's like, every time I use this bangle, like something bad's happened. I almost really hurt a kid the last time I used it. I don't know if like I'm up to do this.
I defend her. I think he would have been a lot more hurt without her, but that's just my thought.
No, I agree. I just think that,
I mean, he was hurt in the brain when he said he liked ice cream pizza, but anyway.
Yeah, he was hurt in the brain when we saw him try to take a selfie out the window of a clock tower. So that kid, there's no hope for him, okay? He could have fallen. And we would have been better off.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to go there with it. He is fictional, so like I guess that's okay to air on YouTube. But like, let's be careful, Kelsey. Not to.
Sorry, I laughed through that because I didn't mean it.
I was gonna say we've got a lot of bent up, just like enclosed anger this week.
Yes,
it's been a tough time. It's been a really tough time. So I'm fine. However we need to cope with current events. If it means wishing death upon children for taking selfies out the window who like ice cream on their Italian pizza. I just broke the cap on my can. Let's move on.
Like Jill said, I have a lot of displaced anger that I need to, let out. Everything.
I probably don't match you in that anger, but I feel so much anger, so I'm with you.
Yeah.
I wish I could punch something right now. But healthily, like not a person, but like a pillow.
No, yeah.
Not the little kid that Kelsey wants to throw from the window.
Sorry, the only way I can cope is with dark humor, okay? I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Dark humor's good.
Oh man. So anyway, another name for this group of people is the Jinn, which is spelled DJINN.
Yeah,
in case you're curious.
Which then provided probably the cringiest line of dialogue in the whole episode, which we'll get to in a bit. But
stop! I love this line. I wrote it down because I love it so much.
I thought it was the cringiest thing I've ever heard in my life. Go ahead, say it.
So Kamala seeks Bruno's help, and she tells him, "I'm a Jinn," and he goes, and he follows with "Entonic."
When would you ever when would you ever
That's a knee slapper. Come on.
I would say, okay, ask me. Tell me. You're a Jinn. I tell you what the real response would be.
I'm a Jinn.
A what? That's what the response would be. Because, like, how? I don't know.
He was just making it funny. I think that you just don't like Bruno anymore. So you got really annoyed with Bruno last episode. So now when he's trying to make his silly little jokes, you're like, this guy stinks. Like you're throwing tomatoes at him.
Like the SpongeBob guy.
Yeah. Oh, brother, this
This
guy
guy
stinks.
stinks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's you with Bruno. But I thought it was a cute and kitschy line, so I liked it.
whatever.
So essentially, Kamala's trying to ask him, like, "Oh, do you know anything about interdimensional travel? Like, is this ringing any bells for you? Something about the Nor dimension?" And he's like, "Oh, I actually think I read a paper on interdimensional travel by Dr. Eric Selvig,
Oh
our
yeah,
good
a
buddy,
little name
old
drop.
pal from Thor,
Yeah,
Thor,
running naked in some
The
green
Dark
country.
World,
Yeah, yeah, good for.
Avengers. Good stuff, you know.
She's recollecting the trivia brain. She's like, "What movies was he
And
in?" Ah,
it's so interesting because they're the entire time they're doing this, I'm like, he definitely wrote a whole paper about this because of the Power Stone, not the Power Stone, the Space Stone in
oh,
Avengers. You know what I
she got
mean?
one
Because
wrong,
like
people.
that was
Yeah,
all
sorry. Go
right.
ahead.
It was a misspeak. Okay, I misspoke. I'm so sorry. It's the Space Zone, also known as the Tesseract. Okay, I even know the science name for it. Um, so yeah, I feel like that's totally what influenced the paper because that
Yeah,
was all about teleporting all of these creatures from space onto Earth. So,
true. Yeah,
but Infinity Stones are no more, so they have to figure out a different way to do
yeah.
interdimensional travel. Take a shot for every time I say interdimensional travel. So now we're at the mosque, and the agents who are actually a part of the Department of Damage Control, which I did not get from the first time I saw these people. This is not the first time we have met the Department of Damage Control. We met them in Spider-Man:
Yep.
Homecoming when they
Oh,
came and took over Michael Keaton's job, and that's why he
right,
lost
right,
his
right, right.
job and wanted revenge on everyone.
Mm-hmm. The villain
So
origin. Yep.
that was the first time we
Gotcha. Yeah.
met the Department of Damage Control. But this lady sucks. Oh my god, she
You really don't
sucks
like her,
so
yeah.
bad. I
Maybe
don't
her
like
and
her
Bruno
because
gotta go hang out.
no, do not corrupt my Bruno like that. He is better than that.
My
Are you
Bruno.
joking?
Yeah.
So she just like walks, prances into the mosque and is like, "All right, full sweep. We're looking for the girl. We know she operates out of this mosque. Like, go ahead, like start searching." And
Mhm.
Nakia steps forward and is like, "Excuse me, I know my rights. You can't come in here and search us without a warrant."
Yeah.
And the mosque man backs her up and is like, "You know what? Come back when you have a warrant." And she really sticks to her guns.
Yeah.
And
I
I feel
I
like this
really
interaction is what got her.
yeah. I really like this interaction, this moment. I like how they're kind of bringing almost like a pseudo political angle to this, like just
Mhm.
in terms of like minorities and or at least like different religious groups and the way they practice and just the way some sort of criminal justice branches like interfere with religion, even some in some places. Maybe there's some undertones also there. Yeah, I really like this storyline because I think it also
Mhm.
makes a lot it brings a lot of impact to the whole moment that we have later with her when she finds out the big secret that Kamala has. Like
Mhm.
that to me is one of the more effective storylines in this big episode and in this series so far. I really do like that friendship and just this whole dynamic with the mosque and just just what her secret means and what it could mean for her people and her culture and all that stuff. So
Yeah. Really, really
yeah,
important, like empowering stuff.
yeah.
So then we find out that Nakia won the seat on the board for the mosque. And I was like, yay, Nakia.
Did
Even
she?
though they
I thought she said she was a board member, and then the guy looked at her and she was like, "Well, I mean, I'm gonna get the votes," and then she handed the poster.
well, in the next scene when she's talking to
Oh, okay.
Kamala, she
All right,
like
we're
comes
moved on.
in
I
and
thought we
like
were still in
face
the last
plants.
scene. Okay, yeah.
Oh
So
no,
between now
we've
then and
moved
there,
on.
she's gotten elected. Yes.
So now she has officially gotten elected. And I
Cool.
do believe that this interaction with, like, the Department of Damage Control is, with some onlookers watching her. They were probably like,
Yeah.
she has our back. I'm going to vote
I
for
wish we
her.
had seen it though. I wish we had gotten that little
Yeah,
moment.
you're
I don't
right.
know.
That's just what I'm
Yeah,
inferring
yeah, yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah.
So now we're into some pre-wedding festivities. People are getting henna tattoos. There's lots of food. Everyone's
It's
hanging
cool.
out. The bride is getting pampered. I did do a tad bit of research into what it's like to
Yeah,
have a,
please.
a Pakistani wedding. So when when Amir came out and was like, "You guys, funny joke, you were only supposed to hide one of my shoes, not all of my shoes." So this is just a game that they play where the bride side, whoever the oldest girl is on the bride side who's unmarried, takes a pair of the groom's shoes when he walks into the house, because they remove their
All
shoes
of, yep.
whenever they enter a house or a
Mhm.
place of worship or anything. And so they take the shoes, and the bride side of the family spends the whole party trying to find them, while the groom side of the family spends the whole party trying to find them.
Yeah,
So it's just a little cute little, hide and
it's
seek
cute.
game they
Yeah.
play. Um it's during this scene where Bruno gifts Kamala a mask,
Hmm.
a really cute looking mask. I'm like, did he make this? Like, did he find it? It's like
I bet he
so
made it. Yeah.
perfect. And
Yeah.
it's like not too flashy. There's not much going on. It's like a really nice
It's like The
aesthetic.
Incredibles. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it just like it goes
Yeah.
on smooth. Yeah. Yeah.
Dill, can I just say that when The Incredibles, like the animation style of when they put on their mask, it's so like seamless. It's
It's
like really
aesthetically pleasing.
appeasing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really pleasing to look at and watch, and I just
It
love it
is.
every time, because like it doesn't make any sense, because then their eyes just open. It's like their eyes are closed, they put on the mask, and then
The
their eyes
beauty of
open, and
animation.
it's
The
like
beauty of
perfect.
animation. Yeah, that's funny.
But I love that a lot. And so the Mosk Man gives Kamala some advice. He goes, "Being good is not something you are, it's something you choose to do." So, Kamala kind of has that in the back of her head for the rest of the time. She's like,
I
"Yeah, like I'm
really
going to start doing good things for
Yeah,
people."
I really like that line of dialogue too. It's kind of shocking that it came out of the same script that Gin and Tonic did, but
All right, we've moved past it.
I'm a critic. I got to be critical of things that I don't like. Sorry.
I understand. I
It's a job.
understand. So then we cut to Bruno's convenience store. He's working the night shift, which is why he couldn't be there at like the pre-wedding celebration. And Mr. Khan comes in to buy. He's buying some hostess pastry that he says that his wife doesn't allow him to eat. So he's like, "Hey, keep this on the down low for me." But Bruno's in the midst of doing all of his interdimensional gin and tonic research, so he's, trying to keep this hidden from Mr. Khan as much as he can.
Yeah.
But, Mr. Khan notices, he goes, "Oh, I recognize this. Why are you reading about the gin?" And Bruno's like, "Oh, my cultural studies class," like whatever he says. And, he kind of translates some of the text for him. It better helps Bruno understand kind of
Hmm.
what's going on. So essentially, Bruno comes to the conclusion that an interdimensional travel is possible theoretically,
Hmm.
but you need a base energy. You need the base energy of the sun. And if you are using that on Earth, he's like, if the base energy you need is the sun, that also means the margin of error is just as large as that. So
Ah,
like anything could happen. She
right.
could explode, like the entire earth could blow up essentially.
Yeah.
So Kamala says like, "Oh, like now tell it to me like you have a social life so I understand. Go." And he goes, "Well, if you help them, some things might explode." And she's like, "Oh, it might, so there's a chance that things might not explode."
Hmm.
Uh so then Bruno finally comes clean to Kamala about Caltech. He's like, "Yeah, I think I have to go," because I feel like he's probably feeling a little shoved out of Kamala's life now that she has all this going on with her powers and these people and Kamran. And I think
Ron.
he's just feeling a little bit
Yeah.
rejected. So I think
Well,
he's like,
she's finding herself. He needs to find
yeah,
himself, and that's a big
that's
part of
true.
college. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not in college yet.
Oh, it would be summer program. Ah, okay. But still, it's about finding himself, and I think that's good for Bruno. I like this side of Bruno. He's finally maturing a little and
Yeah.
putting himself first.
No, yeah, you're not wrong. So then we have this sweet little scene between Kamala and her mom, and Kamala asks her, like, "Oh, have you ever felt like, everything you ever wanted is just like not as good as you thought it was going to be, and you feel like, you can't really do anything right, basically." And her mom reveals that, America was the biggest mountain she had overcome because when
Mm,
she got here, she didn't speak English very well. She had to, become accustomed to so many different things. She didn't know anyone. She said it was the loneliest she ever felt. And, but as time went on, like she got more comfortable being in America, and she overcame her mountain, and
yeah,
Kamala will overcome hers as well. And I just think that
that was
it's
nice.
really nice to see a really nice like relationship between a mother and a daughter, just
Yeah,
because as a daughter who has a mother, I find this relationship to be rather accurate and relatable, because like,
for sure.
one minute you go to wanting to rip each other's heads off to her helping you bandage up your scraped knee in the bathroom, giving you life
Right,
advice. It's just like
right,
it's a
yeah,
very dynamic roller coaster of a relationship.
yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah. I love that.
so so now we're finally at the wedding, and there's a fun little dance sequence.
I
So
loved this so
it,
much. This is what I
okay.
wish the whole episode was just a wedding. I honestly wish, you know how last week I said I wish half of it was like the like her and the Bangle stuff, and the other half was like her and the Bruno and Comrade stuff. I wish
Sure.
they had lumped some of that like other Bangle stuff with that, and just made this episode like started with the dance and just have like 30 minutes of just wedding, and then get to the
Mm,
crazy stuff that happens at the wedding, because I was like, this is so fun. I love this.
yeah.
And seeing mom dance and seeing dad dance and seeing the groom dance, like that was so fun. I love this. Bruno, I don't know why he needed to be front and center, but he's not in the family, he's adjacent to it, but who cares? It was still a lot of fun. It was really fun. I love this scene.
It was really fun. It was giving me very much like Schmidt dancing at Cece's
Yes,
wedding
yes,
energy from
yes,
New
yes,
Girl, and
yes.
that's just a joyful scene to watch as well. So yeah, it
Mhm.
was. I agree with you, Jill. It was a lot of fun. Um, so then Kamran comes in, interrupts the festivities, and is like, "Hey, I came to warn you. Like the Jinn, they're coming because they decided that they can't wait for you to decide whether or not you're going to help them. They're going to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
you help them."
right.
So Kamala does the only thing she can think of to make sure everyone's safe, and she pulls a fire alarm to get everyone out of the building while
Yeah,
all of these like Jinn goons are, chasing her around. An epic fight sequence breaks out by one of the iconic stars from New Jersey, Mr. John Bon Jovi. His Living on a Prayer starts playing underneath this fight
yeah.
sequence, and let me
And
tell you, I was into it.
at first, I thought it was gonna be the cover band that was there, the Brown Jovi. Yeah, that was gonna. I was like, oh my god, are they gonna do a cover? And then it was the actual song. But like,
Yeah.
I did like that. Again, they're using the Jersey cultural references, but I love that there was like a Muslim cover band of Bon Jovi. I just thought that was hilarious. Just at the
Yeah.
wedding, it was my favorite little visual gag of the episode. Favorite
Yeah.
joke. It totally redeemed gin and tonic for me. But yes.
Good. I'm glad. So then there's all this fighting happens. They're fighting in the kitchen. We see Kamala's using her powers as like a shield a lot to like,
Hmm.
she's really on the defense of things. She's not really attacking or trying to hurt anyone up until Bruno gets hurt. And she's like, oh, hell to the no. You are not going to hurt my friend. And that is when her fist literally goes flying, and she's able to knock out all these people as her
Yep.
fist becomes huge and extends out from her. Kamran also shows up to defend her honor. He does some like whippy things with a whip.
Yeah. I gotta
Anyway,
say, and this is where I know I we were kind of questioning Kamran, but I think he's
mm,
really showed his true colors here. That he is here for Kamala, because I really do think, why would he sell out his own family? If he was, unless it's just to get closer to her so he can Hans of the Southern Isles her. But like, I really don't
mm,
think that's the case. Like, I really do think he genuinely cares about her enough, especially in those little moments in the kitchen where he was kind of getting like embarrassed when they were talking about him talking about
yeah,
her. Like,
yeah,
I really do think he showed his true colors here. Yes, the Bruno Brian stuff, like Bruno's still getting annoyed, but like I really
yeah.
do think he has her best intentions in mind, and I like how he like warned her about this. Like he didn't have to. But I think that honestly makes it almost like a little star-crossed, because like
Mm,
this side is out to get her and she's trying to battle against this side, but she loves that guy. Like I think this is a cool relationship, and like I know a lot of people are still team Bruno, but I'm fully team Kamran, because I also just like
mhm.
where the story's going with their relationship too. Because I think I don't know. I still trust him. I still trust him,
Yeah.
Kamran. But
I mean, I trust him too, Dill. I don't think that he's gonna Hans it on her because I don't think that you get thrown off a balcony and land head first if you're
right,
still just gonna turn out to be the bad guy at the end. That fall
right,
looked pretty serious. I'm
yeah.
pretty
I
nervous for him.
I thought he honestly died at first, but then I was like, nah, they can't.
They're
He's a
not gonna
kid.
kill him all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh,
Well,
what
hey,
was I gonna
you were expecting the kid from last
Okay,
episode to die,
listen,
so
I was going to move past it so quick. You like distracted me so much because I was like, yeah, like the kid in the clock tower, but then I didn't want to go there. So
I went there. I
like
went there.
I
I
was
went
like,
there. I
nope,
went there.
just move on to your
So,
next thought.
so yeah, Bon Jovi's playing. Kamran gets thrown off a balcony.
I can't help but feel, Dill, though I'm nervous that they're gonna get too close, and at the end of the day, Kamran is gonna have to go back to his own dimension.
Ah.
And then who's she gonna cry in whose arms? Bruno's.
Oh, I was gonna say
Anyway,
Captain Marvels. Because
she could cry in
we
Carol.
know they're setting up the little seeds that Carol Danvers might show up. Because who's gonna give
Sure.
her the name? I can't think of a name. Light Bright, whatever all the names she was thinking of and whatever. Like I think it's gonna the ending of the show. If I had to make it, would be Brie Larson being like, "You're Miss Marvel." Like
Mm.
I see it written in the stars. But
Maybe. We'll see. Good prediction, Dill. I like it.
thank you.
So
I'll write
then,
it down.
as Kamala is surrounded on all sides, Bruto is hurt. He must something happened to his shoulder, his arm, his elbow. I don't know. All of the above.
There's a lot of things wrong.
He's not
I'm kidding.
helpful at all.
No. It was a joke.
So
I'm tough on Bruno, but it's because I care about him and I want him to succeed. You know.
okay. No, that's a way to look at it, sure. And so the Department of Damage Control show up, and the woman, of course, is just strolling her way in. She's like, "We got him. Oh my god." And then, oh god, I hate her. And so Kamala and Bruno use this opportunity to escape. As they're walking out the door, Kamala uses her powers to shut it behind her, and Nakia runs up, sees it, and is like, "Oh my god, like
Yeah.
you are Nightlight. Like you've been the girl this whole time." And if I found out that my friend was a superhero and she didn't tell me, I would
Yeah.
be so hurt. I would be like, "Are you joking? You think I'm
And
gonna snitch?"
and with the extra bonus of the mosque stuff, like that's where I think this is
Yeah.
so interesting because there's also
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stakes with her too. Also, this moment just reminded me of Hannah Montana because like I remember watching Hannah Montana in real time and like
Mm.
those reveals coming of like Oliver's finding out this week. Stay tuned on Hannah Montana. It's the preview
Yeah,
of her
yeah,
like
yeah.
chewing the gum and her ripping off the hair. And then
Yep.
there was also the episode where Lily found out. I was like, this is like so good. Like I was like, this is taking me back. It almost feels like a Disney Channel original movie or a Disney Channel original show with superheroes. And honestly, yeah, I think it's great. I think the secret stuff it's very Hannah Montana to me. It's just the singing is now superpowers.
No,
But I
I
love it.
love that
Yeah,
comparison, Dill.
yeah.
Ah,
Thank
you're
you.
so right. So then Kamala gets home after all of this, and her parents are like, "Did you pull the fire alarm? Like, what's going on with you? Who are those people? Like, we just need to know. Like, if you don't tell
Hmm.
us, we can't help you." And Kamala's like, I can't tell you. And she just
Hmm.
strolls up to her room
Yeah.
where she gets a call from Nani.
Well,
She
before you
gets a
get to
call
that
from
though,
her.
I just want
Oh,
to say,
okay.
I
Go
remember how we
ahead.
were like, do we think mom knows? I don't know if mom knows actually, because this scene made me think she doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or because it
Yeah.
just really didn't seem like she was bluffing her at this point. I honestly think her mom's just as much in the dark as she was. I really do.
Yeah. I think so too,
Yeah.
because I think now that I'm thinking about it, Jill, I feel like because during like the pre-wedding scene when the like all the family members were gathering at their house, she said something along the lines of like, "My mother didn't even show up for my wedding. Why would she show up for my son's? Like, of
Right.
course,
Yeah.
she's not here." So I feel like
Yeah.
there's some deeper animosity
Yeah.
between her mother and her grandmother
Yeah.
Aisha because they've probably been keeping this secret from her. She doesn't know why they've been so distant or not always there for her all the
Right.
time. And it's because of this bangle and this life and these powers and everything. And now that Kamala's into it, she's like, I don't know what's going on with my freaking
Right.
family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Then
I
she gets a
I
call.
agree with
Then she
you.
gets a call. Yeah.
Yes. Then she gets a call from Nani, who tells her, "Oh, like did you see it? Did you see the train?" And Kamala's like, "How do you know about the train?" Because, when before the Department of Damage Control came in, the woman grabbed onto the bangle Kamala was wearing, and then we saw a train that had Karachi on the front of it. And her grandmother's like, "Well, you got to get here. That you have to come. So you have to come to book the next flight out. You're coming to Karachi." And that's how our episode ended.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm very interested to see where this goes because again, feels like we're still in the like what's going on phase, and I'm worried we're
Yeah.
gonna be in that the whole time. You know, like
Mm,
I'm just worried that like because I feel like it almost feels like they should have just done like a movie of the origin stuff and then do like a series of her in action, because it just feels like
mm,
an origin story spread across 6 episodes is taking a little time to get there. Just like Moon Knight, I felt like it got there a little quicker to figure out what was going on, to then get into the action, to then kind of go back and re-explain some things that we didn't know, rather than just front loading it with all the like backstory and stuff. But I am liking a lot of the energy of the show. I still think it's very vibrant and fun. Those wedding sequences were so good. Like part of me
hmm
just wishes they could have just made this as a regular series without superheroes. But obviously the superhero thing is like the novelty of it. But like
sure.
it's the family drama and the dynamics and all that friendship stuff that it's is really working with me, like resonating with me. So yeah.
Yeah, Jill, I agree. I think that, at the end of the day, like this is the MCU and superhero stuff is gonna be the focus.
I know, I know,
But
I know, I know.
I'm
Yeah.
just curious now how she's gonna get to Karachi, because how's she gonna get on a plane or or anything without her
Hmm.
family knowing? Like, what's gonna
Well,
happen?
there may be a cameo coming. It hasn't been confirmed, but I did allude to her earlier. Maybe Captain Marvel will give her a ride. Is
Maybe,
that too early? You think
maybe.
it's too early? I don't know. Uh,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know. I don't know. I never know with the
Do you
MCU.
have any predictions though? I mean, it's hard here because it's like we can't really predict stuff because we're still kind of in the exposition phase. But like, I really don't know what to expect. I'm just kind of staying open minded. But do you have any thoughts, predictions before we head into next week?
I think that she's probably going to have to come in contact with the great grandmother, right?
Yeah,
Aisha's got to be out there somewhere. She has the other bangle. And I think that maybe, at some point, like Kamala's going to end up with both of them. But at least I want her to, because, like, I want her to have these
yeah,
powers and I want her to, live out her dreams of being a superhero and, saving the day and everything. So,
for sure. All right, so that's it. I mean, that was the episode. I mean, a lot happened, but it was like kind of stretched out. Like the bulk of this episode was the wedding and that fight, but a lot of
mhm.
good stuff though. I think it's better than last week's, but I'm still kind of like wishing it would get back to what the magic of the first episode, because I think that was the most like drama, like just character centric episode. Whereas this one, it was just kind of like still explaining the mythology, which I get you have to do, but it's like we only have 6 episodes, and that's one thing that these Marvel series, I'm just kind of like get to the action a little sooner, so that way the finale's
Mm,
not packed and jam packed. But I'm really interested to see the Nakia stuff, or Nakia stuff.
Nakia.
There's a Nakia and a Nakia.
Nikia
Uh
and Nakia.
but yeah, like I really do think that's gonna be an interesting dynamic, even more interesting than like Bruno or Kamran or anything like that. Like that's gonna be
Yeah,
to me the most
sure.
interesting thing to see unfold. But yeah. All right, well, there it is. I mean, that was a little
It's a
bit of a
short
shorter one.
one.
But yeah, no, there's not much else to say. Next week we will have trivia for you, we promise. But this was a nice little placeholder. So July 4th we will have that doubleheader, and then after that, the next week, the 11th. Yes, I did the math right. July 11th we will have episodes 4 and 5 reviewed, and then after that we'll do the sixth episode. Maybe I don't know when Thor: Love and Thunder is actually. When is Thor: Love and Thunder?
July 8th.
So you know what, people? You are gonna be getting. We may need to double up because we're gonna get trivia on the 4th. Um, July 11th will be our Thor: Love and Thunder review. Maybe we might not even get to the Miss Marvel stuff till the next week, so it might be a little while till we talk about Miss Marvel. But maybe we
Mm,
just do just a long episode to just talk about the second half of the season or something like that. But either way, that's good that we have a lot of stuff coming, because it means that we're busy and Marvel's busy, and sometimes we're we have too many projects we don't know what to do with. But then sometimes we're like waiting in long off seasons, so it's
mm.
nice that we have stuff to talk about for the next few weeks. So next week trivia, week after Thor: Love and Thunder, and then we'll get into some more Miss Marvel. But yeah, this was fun. Any last words, Kels? Where can I find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Kelsey A. Kilpatrick. You could find me on TikTok at Cause13, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Cause Productions.
Yay. Oh, wow. Yeah, thank you for bearing with my cold, people. For some reason, I'm just having really bad sinus and allergy problems today. I did not
Mm.
have it the past few days. Didn't even have it this morning. It's just like when I got home, it just started happening. But yeah,
Oof.
thank you for bearing with me. And Dylan _Randazzo, Twitter, Letterbox, Dylan Randazzo 417 at TikTok. And if you're listening on podcast, check out the Dill Pickle Movie Network, where you can see this on video and where you can subscribe for lots of cool videos. Like I said, draft day, vote in that poll. And get your friends to vote in the polls too. If you have a person you want to back, if you want to back Kelsey, if you want to back me, if you want to back Chad, JD, Brian, whoever you feel passionate about, tell your friends, hey, vote on this poll. You don't even need to be in the group. I believe you can just vote without having to be in the group. Like, you don't have to get notifications. So go on that post. It is linked in the video. And take care of yourselves. It's been a tough time. Take care of yourselves mentally, physically, but especially mentally. Like, do what you need to do to stay calm, or to just stay at any level happy. It's a very hard time, but if you don't want to feel happy either, that's okay too, because there's a lot of anger out there. It's okay to be
Mm.
angry as well. So feel however you need to feel to get through what's going on. Hopefully get through it. If I hope things are going to change. It's been a tough time, tough week, but we are thinking of you all. And yeah, of course, we love the very strong women who have contributed to this channel, including Kelsey, including trivia competitors like Stacy and Carrie, and just Elizabeth, who I did a video on Big Brother with. All the people who have helped my channel, just women I really look up to. And I see you, I hear you. It's been a really tough week, and my heart breaks. Getting emotional, but yeah, it's been a rough week.
Oh,
But I'm
Dill.
thinking of you all, and we'll get through this together. So, woo! Didn't think I get emotional. It's a tough time. It's a tough time to
I've
be.
been
Woo!
emotional
Yeah.
all day, so
It's been a rough time. And happy Pride, everyone. Actually, this video is happening the day after the Pride parade in New York, and Monday night there will be a Pride episode of Frame Wreck, where we'll be talking about a great queer cult classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge, which is so fucking gay and so fucking fun
wow.
and so fucking brilliant. I love it so much. I know people hate on it, but it is beautiful for all the wrong reasons and all the right reasons. So go check that
Yep.
out if you want to just like take your mind away from some of the horrors going on in the world right now, and just want to like
Mm.
sit down and watch a fun horror movie that is not about those horrors, but is just this really interesting metaphor on sexuality and queerness and closeting, and just have a really good fun romp of a time. Go watch that, and then watch our video. We had a great guest on to talk about that. So check out Frame Wreck, check out all the channel stuff, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, and be and I hope you guys are all okay. Whatever you need, comment below. If I'll just give happy thoughts if I can, or just positive reinforcement, or whatever I can give. I'd be happy to give. If watching this video is what you need to escape, or to just kind of just process, then thank you for coming to this channel and doing so.
Mm.
But I've talked enough. Let's head out. We'll see you next week for some more trivia. Have a nice rest of your June, people. See ya.